Right. Let me check to see if we are live. Give it a sec. Wait for it. And okay. Confirmed. We are live. What's up, guys? HDeezus is here. You guys know what time it is. It's time for that Lawbringer guide, and I'm here to bring it to you guys. I am joined by the bringer of leaves once again, Damas. Damas.
Yo, yo,
How you been, man?
not too bad.
I appreciate you for helping me out, um, and getting this guide done. So let's see if we can do this. All right, guys, this is gonna be a long one. So buckle in. I'll try to remind myself to put annotations for each section, as this is going to be a pretty comprehensive guide. This guide does apply to Lawbringers that post the patch. So this is the updated Lawbringer guide. So let me list the things that I'm going to touch on and go over at the beginning, and then hopefully again the annotations will be up. But I'm gonna pretty much go over the goal of the Lawbringer, why you should play Lawbringer outside of I like the Lawbringer, I want to play him, how easy it is to play the Lawbringer, the strengths and weaknesses of the Lawbringer, the roles that I recommend you play in Dominion, notable abilities. That pretty much goes into the skills that he has, which ones are pretty important, recommended feats, and the abilities of them. So, which feats I recommend you use for each mode, offensive and defensive tactics, knowing your opponent's class, your staple confirms, and then I'll explain certain combos and variants of them on how to maintain your stamina. After that, I'll cover some slight nuances, and then I'll help out when it comes to honor code and how to handle yourself in a 2v1. So, okay. There will be a bit of an echo. I still hear it, so you don't have to worry about muting yourself on and off. I still hear it. Don't worry about it. We do have slight technical issues. There's a bit of an echo, so if you hear it, try to bear with it. We will get those fixed later. But this is mainly a good source of Lawbringer information, so it's not supposed to be the most glamorous. But anyways, the reason why we're here is because I want to start off on pretty much. I turned off feats, so it doesn't even matter. So let me go back, because I'm a stupid motherfucker. Actually, no. I'll go over feats later. Honestly, no. It's not even that big a deal. Feats, your level 1 feat, you want... for Dominion, you have your choice between Body Count and Conqueror. I like Body Count over Conqueror because sometimes you need to go to point B. For your level 2 feat is almost always Righteous Deflection, which is you get a damage resistance boost every time you parry an attack. Staple. Third feat, your level 3, is Second Wind. It's your heal, it's your spot heal. It's, in my opinion, one of the best feats in the game. It makes you very hard to kill. And your fourth ability is determined depending on the map that you play. I'm bearing the lead a bit, but I will go more into detail. But for now, you are a rook and you're a defender. So if you're defending a map with a roof like this, your fourth feat cannot be catapult because it won't work. So you need to go with Igneous Ember, which is the grenade ability. Something to consider. Now, if you guys have watched the last guide, we went in a dueling format, but since Dominion is an important part of mine, I thought it would be a good idea to use the Dominion map. And I will explain the different types of roles in a bit. But let's go down this list and take it from the top. All right, so the Lawbringer goal. What is the goal of the Lawbringer? And what I mean by that is what does the Lawbringer do to win a fight? Now, the damage is off, but the damage is not important with the Lawbringer, especially if your opponent has full health. In my opinion, the goal of the Lawbringer is essentially to bully your opponent by beating up their stamina and then setting up for 50-50s when they have low stamina or no stamina at all. So, as you can see, the shove, it doesn't do damage even though damage is turned off. It doesn't do damage, but you can see that it takes a good amount of stamina. Now I'm going to let him recover all of his stamina, and it's important to notice the stamina loss that I take and the stamina loss that he takes when the move is done and connected. You can see that it's pretty much the exact same. So that means you can't, the best strategy is not to start shoving your opponent at full stamina because you'll gas yourself out too. But also notice that the more I did it and the more he got hit, the more stamina he took. Shoving is my primary offense when it comes to stamina play. The Lawbringer is not a fast killer. There aren't too many things that the Lawbringer can do to kill someone fast if you are going against a good opponent. And for the entirety of this guide is implying that your opponent is equally as skilled as you and that you are fair. So there's no gimmicks that I'm gonna show you to be expected to lose, to use, like grabbing and then doing heavies, because a good opponent is not gonna let you guard break them that much unless you set them up, which is exactly the goal of the Lawbringer. We want to set them up. Will I go into detail of that now, or will I wait for it? The next thing, yep, you know what? We're gonna go over it briefly. Go over it because the next one is the strengths and the weaknesses, so we can go over both of that right now. The strength of the Lawbringer is that he has a good health pool and that he can make use of his defensive ability to block and then do something after. So I'm gonna have Damas attack me once. I'll show you what I mean. So Damas attacked me, and pretty much most characters can only simply block. When it comes to just blocking, we have parries and stuff like that too, but when it comes to blocking, almost everybody can just block. But the Lawbringer has the shove ability that looks like this, but we can also do it off of a shove. So go ahead and tap me again. It's a strength because the opponent uses stamina to attack, and then I shove them, and that shove is free. Attack me again. So look at his stamina. Off of one heavy attack, I took about 1/3 of his stamina. That's huge because I'm going to have him attack me one more time because I can do something like this. If I connect two more shoves after that, he is in a very dangerous situation, and you can set up your opponent very strong. Another thing is we have really good mobility, not mobility, but we have a lot of options when it comes to parries. Stay still, stay still. Go ahead and attack me again. Now, that was a parry. Now before, the only thing that we can do from a parry was the parry riposte. Go ahead and tap me again. Which is that. And you can see the swirls around his head. He's stunned. That's a new thing. I'm sure you guys already know about that. But now we have way more options, and it makes the Lawbringer really strong. So tag me again. Now we can essentially push our opponent against the wall, and we can pretty much just do damage after that. We can do a top attack, which is a really good stunning, stamina draining attack. Very nasty. Or if that was a ledge,
though,
we could
that
throw them
can
off
be
the ledge.
deflected by assassins. Just so you know.
Okay, yes, that's a good point. That was gonna be the next section, but it's good to note at least yes, there are significant strengths to it, but there are weaknesses. But at least for now, the fact that we have that ability is huge. So we have other stuff that we can do as well that's notable. So go ahead and tap me again. That moves, make way. Very good move in a Dominion setting or elimination or a setting where you can find yourself in a 2v1. If you notice the glow, I also have hyper armor, which means that, well, I don't know what to call it, like an uninterruptible stance, I think they call it here, where pretty much I
Yeah.
can't be interrupted while I do it with attacks. Shoves still, interrupt me, but attacks, I ignore them. Very good attack to do. And then, of course, we have the final attack. Go ahead and attack me one more time. Oh shit! I fucked up. Go ahead. God damn it! I forget. I forget. We have Blind Justice, which is the top heavy attack from the parry. Now, it's an option. The reason why I save it for last is because it's not a strength, it's an option, which is like a nice segue into the weaknesses of the Lawbringer. So the weakness of the Lawbringer in regards to the parry is, like Damas said earlier, is that the impaling riposte. Go ahead and do it. Attack me again. Well, that was Blind Justice, but Blind Justice can be sidestepped off of a heavy attack. Go ahead and tap me again. That
Of course,
move right
I gotta
there,
be able to deflect it.
yeah, it can be deflected.
Try one more time. It's really strict timing, so it's likely not to happen, but it is possible.
We'll try it one more time.
Oh, shit. Other side. Dang.
You sure?
Okay, well, I'm slacking. Maybe it might have been changed. Might have been changed.
I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed. I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed, but there are rare instances where there are things that are buggy that aren't intended, and I think deflecting it is unintended. But we'll mark it down. I could be wrong on that, but overall, it's a 10%er, where 90% it's still very useful, especially, well, only if you land them against the wall. So you still need to have some sense of tact and some sense of environmental awareness to be able to use that move specifically in combat. But the fact that we're able to land both of those things now is very huge. So make use of that. Other weaknesses that we have, as you guys noticed earlier, was that the Blind Justice could be sidestepped. And the reason why I consider that a weakness rather than just an option is because it requires you to react with Blind Justice off of a light attack. There are certain characters whose light and heavy attacks look very similar, and it's hard to tell. Getting sidestepped from a Blind Justice is very dangerous for you, because not only can they sidestep attack you, they can sidestep you in guard break. So it's a good option. My best bet is to only save Blind Justice with sidestep attacks. So go ahead and sidestep attack me.
Oh.
When your opponent sidestep attack you, when your opponent has a light version of a sidestep attack, you can parry that and your Blind Justice is free. Huge strength against pretty much anybody with sidestep attacks. So always keep that in mind. But if it's a heavy attack, don't even bother. It's going to completely whiff if they're smart about it. So give me a heavy. So don't do Blind Justice. My advice, my recommendation, stick to impaling riposte or your riposte, your light attack riposte. That stuns. it's better. It's good to go. And then you can use make way for selective 2v1s. But use that wisely too, because the zone attack itself can be parried. So keep that in mind. Weaknesses continued. The Lawbringer is a very volatile character. He has a lot more tools in this recent patch than he did before, but safety was not given to him. We have a confirm, and I'll get into that in another section, but we're still on weaknesses right now. The weaknesses are that his attacks are still slow, and he has range, but his range isn't the best. It's like right there is like max range. You didn't have to sidestep that. I would have not hit you. So, and on top of that, he can, if I miss, I'm easily whiff punished. Like, attack me with like your side light attack from your right. It's hard to do, but point is,
my timing's off.
You can get whiff punished. Not the worst. The timing's still there, but the fact that your range still puts you in like a very you're in a close range. It's not good. On top of that, your attacks are very slow. So if you're in an assassin's face and you're trying to do these attacks, they're not only easy to block, but they can attack you faster than you can attack them. So if we did the attack at the same time, he's gonna just beat me always. So keep that in mind. And that goes for almost everybody. I'm gonna say the people who are excluded from this are pretty much other Lawbringers and then heavies. But when it comes to heavies, they have threats that are worse than just attacks in that sense. My favorite tool is the shove, and it's, in my opinion, the bread and butter of the Lawbringer, but the shove itself is very weak as well. Not only is it sidesteppable, but they can pretty much sidestep me and then guard break. So, well, he's gassed out, but pretty much it's reactable. People compare this to the Warden's shoulder charge and the Warlord's bash. It's not the same because those are a bit magnetic, and this one is just really reactable to it. The good news to it, though, is that the move itself is, it gives us armor. So as you noticed earlier when Damas was wailing on me, I still go through with the shove even though I get hit. But with the change, this is a weakness, with the change, there's like a larger gap. I feel like they reduce the gap of when we get armor, because if we get if the Orochi were to do the double top attack during it, I'll get interrupted. Okay. This is
it's not working anymore.
It could be a bug, but it could be a bug because it wasn't listed in the patch notes. But I definitely notice it when I go against the Nobushi mainly. There it was. Unless you activated Revenge.
No, I just got it.
Yeah. But you saw that I got interrupted in that one where I got pushed back. So I don't know if it's a bug or if it's inconsistent, but the fact is it happens. And that is a weakness that hurts the Lawbringer pretty bad. Also, on top of that, we have been given a shove and an attack, which is very nice if the opponent doesn't do anything. Oh,
that's the one that can be deflected.
Right.
That's what I was thinking of.
Okay, there we go. I was like, yeah, the Imperial Riposte I'm pretty sure is guaranteed, but when we do the shoulder charge, not only, or shoulder charge, the bash, when we do that, it's not free at all. It can be sidestepped, and against assassins, it's one of the easiest things to deflect, I noticed. So Look at that. That's nasty. So, pretty much, your shoves are always going to make you in a vulnerable situation. So, you need to worry about 50-50s in order to do them. So, you want to pretty much bait your opponent into doing something like sidestep, or continue to do that even if they don't stay still, because you want to condition your opponent to think that that's all you know, and then you can hit him with the 50-50. Trust me, I'll get into details of that. I'm trying to cover all of the weaknesses of the Lawbringer. He has a lot of them, to be honest with you. I would say the biggest one is that his range is just not the largest range. So you have to pretty much be on point with your spacing and know not to whiff. His attacks are very slow, so they're easily sidestepped, they're easily blocked, and they're easily parried. The worst thing about it is that if we feint our attacks, we can't do anything. As you saw, he still hit me even though I went directly into an attack. It's because our attacks are slow. So we're not winning fights as a Lawbringer through a flurry of attacks. We're going to get a couple hits here and there, but we're going to get sidestepped, we're going to get blocked, we're going to get parried. So understanding the weaknesses of the Lawbringer is important. There are smaller weaknesses, and I'm sure I'll cover them as we move on. But I feel like I'm spending too much time on that. So we're going to move on. Alright. So, roles in Dominion. That's next. This is why we're on this map. The role of Dominion, I take great pride in my tactics in Dominion, and I have labeled my character as a Lawbringer as a rook. What is a rook? In Dominion, you've got point A, point B, and point C. As a rook with a 4-man team, you have two positions. You've got the rooks and you have the knights, at least when you're on Team HDeezus, right? And so the Lawbringer, we're going to focus on the Lawbringer's role, which is the rook. The rook's job is to defend this point or the other point, because there are two different rooks. You go here and then you pretty much collect the points. On the top right of the screen, you'll have the 2 bars that are points generated to 1,000. And while you're standing on the point by yourself and it's defending, you'll generate +2 points instead of the standard +1 if no one was here. Your job is to sit here and defend that point. Ideally, you want to keep bad guys out. You stand at the borders and then pretty much keep them out as long as possible, because if they do step in that point, they've neutralized it, which means this point is not taking any points. So it's your job as the rook to essentially protect this area. Make sure that is done. So, what do you do as a rook? As a Lawbringer, easy. You just stay there. Ideally, you want to fight 2 people instead of 1, not so you can kill them both, but so that there's 1 less person somewhere else. If I'm fighting 2 people here and we're going at it, that means point B has 1 less person, or point A, the other point on the other side of the map, has 1 less person. Did I lose Damas? Nope. Okay.
We're good. We're good.
And our job is to pretty much use our abilities to also keep them out. So let's see if I can angle this right. Alright. Go ahead and attack me. You want to make sure that you use the environment around you to your advantage as your rook, because you want to kill your opponent as fast as possible, but sometimes you have to take it slow. So you gotta make sure that your hits count. All right, let's see if I can get a little cheeky with it. All right, go ahead and tap me. Close, but good enough. So with that, you can pretty much ring out your opponent as well, and that's another quick way to do this. So always keep that in mind. So in my opinion, in Dominion, you are a rook. Now, if you remember what I said earlier about the recommended feats, I recommend body count, because there are times where either you are dead and there are people fighting at, the point that you were assigned to defend. Then you come to the middle and then you start killing all of the soldiers, and with body count, you're able to maintain your stamina, and you're able to keep attacking over and over and over again. Once you go there, you notice that no one is defending this area as a rook. You go back to that point, and then you sit there and defend it. You defend, you defend, you defend all day. Hopefully you draw 3 guys, which means that there are people on the other 2 points. I have a separate video on Dominion strategy. So it's not really about the minion strategy, it's just the role of the Lawbringer. And the Lawbringer is a point defender, but I call them rooks. You can notice the rook pattern too. I represent, but I don't want to digress. All right. So, anything else about Dominion? No, that's it. That's pretty much it. You want to embrace 2v1s and 3v1s to play this role, because you will find yourself always outnumbered. So you have to embrace that. Okay, up next, we've got notable abilities. All right. I kind of went over a few of them, but now this section is going to be dedicated to getting out as many of the notable abilities as possible. With the new patch, this list has significantly grown. So, well, it's grown enough. All right. So, Dominus, would you approach, please? And we'll go down the list. I don't have these written down. I probably should have written them down. I only got bullets here. But notable abilities, shove, bread and butter. It's the best ability that the Lawbringer has. Utilize it. It's very, very good. Shove, attack. The ability to do that is in my opinion greatly underrated. It's not because the ability itself is good. It's because it forces your opponent to react, and that reaction turns it to a 50-50. So keep that in mind. The ability to 50-50 is there. I'll probably close out with 50-50s because the 50-50 isn't a Lawbringer exclusive notable ability. All right, so now we've got no superstes. I love this move before it got changed, but this move got buffed. The reason why this ability is notable, so obviously you can see it knocks your opponent down, but if you pay attention to his stamina, you will notice it goes down as well. It's a stamina buster, and then on top of that, with the new patch, if we land this attack, we are guaranteed a free side heavy attack, which means that we can do some cheeky stuff. Like, oh, I did it too late. So we can time it. We have to delay it, our side attack just a little bit, so that they are stood up enough to eat the shove after, which is a lot of stamina loss. I'll do it one more time. So that's a lot of stamina drain, and it takes a lot of health. And on top of that, it leads to the shove 50-50. So like after I did the shove, I could shove attack or shove grab instead. Or shove do nothing, wait for a sidestep attack, parry it into some nonsense. So no spare stays or long arm is a notable ability that he has. Attack me. Shove from the top attack. Shove from the top. Shove after a block. Very important. To this day, I don't see too many Lawbringers doing it. It's one of the shove is his best ability, and so you get it how you get it. So always do pretty much the shove after the block, unless you're gonna gas out if you do it. So always be mindful of that as well. Other notable abilities, of course, attack me. You've got that, which is an excellent ability because it dazes. Attack me again. Blind Justice, notable ability, but like I said in the weakness category, try not to do it so much unless you're certain it's a light attack or you're certain that it is a sidestep attack, so that you're able to get it. Attack me again. Impaling Riposte, very good move. Pro tip, hold the attack button to go further. So keep that in mind. Attack me again. And then you have Make Way. Pretty much, I remember the first guy that I did, I pretty much said, don't bother doing anything but, you know, your light riposte after a parry, or go for a guard break, because all of the moves that we have after a guard break are garbage. Well, now all of them are significant. They're all good, so they're all significant. So those are the important abilities. I know there are some in combos. We're going to get to that in a moment too. But those are pretty much all of the abilities, unless I am forgetting something. I don't think I am. So let's get into the next part. Alright, abilities. Recommended feats. I went over that. Recommended feats, abilities. So we got that too. Perfect. Offensive tactics. Now we get to have a little fun. So let's say me and Damas are dueling, and I want to be offensive. What do I do from a 100% state? Against most characters, you kind of want to keep your distance. Utilize your range as much as possible. Prevent your opponent from getting in by not whiffing attacks, but utilizing your range. So if they dare dash forward to you, they're going to eat a heavy attack like really, really hard. So you're poking. In the fighting game world that I live in, I call this footsies. Utilize it, utilize your range, and then you're good to go. Now let's say Damas attacks me some, and he utilizes like a little bit of stamina. Alright, and I'm defending him. Now I'm going to be offensive. An offensive tactic is, once you see your opponent is drained of stamina, you're going for their stamina. See how much stamina that top heavy attack took? Offensive, in my book, is not attacking their health. It's attacking their stamina. When your opponent has less stamina to work with, they can do less things. Now my opponent is completely gassed out, and now we're essentially Super Saiyan. If you follow my book and my guide, when your opponent is gassed out, that's the equivalent of revenge mode in my book, where you are now completely free to go offensive. So why is that so important? Let me gas out Damas to show you guys. I shouldn't have done that one because I lose a lot of stamina by doing that too. Attack me. There we go. So when he's gassed out, I'm going to do my best to keep him gassed out while I say all this. When he's gassed out, he is no longer able to roll. He is no longer able to attack me with his great speed. He is only able to sidestep. Why is that important? Because I now have the full 50-50. Are you serious, Thomas? Let me gas you out, man. Oh my god. Okay, now you can sidestep. So now when he's sidestepping, I've got options. I can throw him on the ground and hit him. And the shove, as you can see, it keeps him in an exhausted state. But pretty much the 50-50 is this. When he is gassed out and he's only able to sidestep, the shove is your best friend. And they know that you're going to shove, but they also know that if they sidestep, I get a free guard break. And if I guard break you, that's a free heavy attack into a shove. This is where you're getting your big damage, because it's essentially like you just hitting your opponent with heavies. Essentially, that's what it is. When they're gassed out. And that's where you're going for offense. Another offensive tactic is to make use of the very scary but rarely used unblockables. I think in the 3 weeks, or we'll say the 2 weeks that I've played post Lawbringer, I've maybe completed the unblockable combo twice. Reason why is because it's still really bad to use against skilled players, but it's still good to do in a situation where your opponent is feeling antsy. So you do some stuff like this. You pretty much intentionally whiff your attacks or something along those lines. Typically, when you're going against assassins, they want to dash up. They want to dash up towards you and attack, or they want to whiff punish you with a sidestep attack, or they just want to whiff punish you. Period. And that's where your whiff attacks come in. Especially if they deflect. If they deflect, then you clearly were doing some unsafe shit. So you gotta keep that in mind. But as far as an offensive,
you also remember assassins can deflect while they're gassed out. They can't attack from it, but they can still get the deflect off.
Right. I don't know. I don't know if that is a detriment though. Is it? Like, does it drain stamina?
I mean, I don't think it matters too much.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, essentially they can just not take damage through deflection by sidestepping into your stuff.
Right.
So again, as far as offense goes, unless it's a mind game thing, you're not really going to end up doing your unblockables. At least let them rip. So you could feint if you want to, but I'm not a fan of feinting, especially against other Lawbringers, because it drains your stamina. The offensive tactic goes into your stamina. You want to look for openings in your opponent's stamina. So if they're attacking you and you're defending as you're supposed to, this is why shoves are important, because as soon as you see just a little gap in their stamina, just a little bit, you want to press them with that attack, especially if you want to get them to half health or half HP. He feints too much. Now he's gassed out. You know, I whiffed, but you get the picture. Like, I don't wanna stay on this for too much, but offensively, it's not about, you're not looking to kill their health. You're looking to destroy their stamina, and then you ruin them with 50-50s. So I'll get into that now. All the 50-50s that I have, pretty much before the only tactic, before the patch, the only tactic was to do whatever it takes to keep your opponent drained, and then when they're in that state, you pretty much hit them. So the 50-50 is, I do the shove, and if they sidestep, they win the 50-50. I do the shove, they sidestep, I grab them, they lose. I don't know why you got pushed back so far. But. So there's a 50-50. Huge offensive tool. Lawbringers have a 50-50. It's useful. Post-patch, we have another 50-50, but it's a faux 50-50, but it's still a good one, where it is, after a shove, we have an attack. Now keep in mind that the 50-50 exists because the shove attack can be dealt with. So then, if they sidestep after a shove, they get grabbed. The reason why it's a full 50-50 is because if you're an assassin, you can do a sidestep attack. But unfortunately for us, the sidestep comes out so smooth with the cooldown that it often turns into a guard break. So with Berserkers and Orochi, they have access to pretty much their guard break attacks, which for the Berserker, it would be a guard break in itself, and the Orochi would be a deflect attack. So like if I were to do that again, attack with the other side, but he was still trying to sidestep the other way, the same way. Well, the other way. Keep sidestepping the same way.
Oh yeah, no, I was trying to do the other way.
You can't sidestep the other way?
So you have to deflect in the direction.
No,
you
just
have
sidestep.
to sidestep into the.
That's weird.
I know, that's what I'm trying to do. The only way to get out of it is if you deflect.
That's not true.
Which is kind of cool.
That's not true at all.
I'm not able to get out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never mind.
You were just trying to deflect. I'm just saying, like, the deflect could be seen as just like an option select when you sidestep attack. So now just sidestep attack. All right, keep doing that. There it is.
There we go.
So pretty much, yeah. If you, it's a full 50-50 against someone who could sidestep attack, and unfortunately, that's a lot of motherfuckers. Like, it doesn't even have to be a sidestep attack. It could be a sidestep shove, or it could be a another variant of the shove. So keep that in mind. But it's still useful because it puts your opponent in a reactionary state. If they do nothing, then they eat the damage and they eat the stamina damage. But I don't have to attack, right? I can just do nothing, see if they sidestep attack, or grab them instead. And if I see their guard breaking, then I'm attacking them again. So keep that in mind, that offensively, that's your bread and butter, pretty much. Offense is you're attacking their stamina, or you're attacking their stamina and their health with a little stab, which opens up the 50-50, which is where where the meat of your damage is coming from. So you have to work as a Lawbringer to pretty much kill your opponent. No matter who your opponent is, you have to work. So understand that and treat it as such. Any other offensive tactics? Yep, there is another one. To respond to if your opponent is standing still, if you think your opponent is standing still, you don't have to just do that. You can also throw out long arm as well. Now, I would use this sparingly, but I would still use it because you need to put the fear of that move in your opponent's head, pretty much further conditioning them to sidestep you. So now that they're afraid of the long arm, no super states, you can pretty much really solidify your progress involving that. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. Defensive tactics. Not much to say, to be honest, for defensive tactics, because the defensive tactics go hand in hand with your offensive tactics. Your defensive tactic is to maintain a good range with your opponent. Stay away from your opponent because your attacks are slow. You don't want to be in your opponent's face if you do not have the offensive advantage or you're not creating offensive pressure through your shoves. So keep your distance. Mind your cooldown on your recovery frames, which means like it's gonna take me a while to recover from that attack. You can mitigate that by continuing a chain if you want to. Very useful. So you want to keep a range. There's a lot of videos that I've posted that showcase this. I'll say that I go into detail in a video on how I feel you can deal with a Peacekeeper. So I'll link that in the description as well for a reference. I'm gonna have Damas attack me now. So defensively, if you are in your opponent's face, you want to make sure you punish them for attacking you as well by shoving them afterwards. He's gassed out. He is effectively no longer an offensive threat. Successful defense. Like the Lawbringer is a spiked shield of sorts. He's not someone who wants to take the damage. He wants to not take damage by having your opponent not be able to attack, and then he can attack that way. So make sure that if you're not going for parries and you're going for the block, go for the shove instead. Always shove. The only exception is you're in a 2v1 and your shove takes too long and you're going to get hit, or you're almost about to be gassed out and a shove will gas you out. So the final defensive tactic that I'll give is keep an eye on your stamina and make sure that you have at least 70%. If you're below 70%, take a break. Just chill out for a second, get your range going, and you're good to go. Parrying is important, but with the speed of his attacks, like as you saw, I just blocked, but I went for like a quick parry. It was very hard for me to parry from another stance. Go ahead, do it. Oh shit. Do it again. One more time. Like I can do it, but it's very hard. All right, one more time. Okay, maybe it's not so hard. So parry. Well, he is throwing heavy attacks. He is throwing heavy attacks. I'm talking about the light
Want me to
attacks.
throw some lights?
Yeah, throw a
Okay.
light. There it is. All right. Don't change your attacks. Dick. One more time. Well, no, attack me from the other side. Alright. So I pretty much have to predict that it's there. It's gonna be hard. Let me just take my word for it. It's gonna be harder to react to those than it is to do that. So I would say just defensively, just focus on the parry or the block and then shove instead. So that's it for defensive tactics. So let's move on to the next one, which is knowing your opponent's class. This pretty much applies both your offensive tactics and defensive tactics, because sometimes your shoves aren't the best idea against certain classes. So in this particular scenario, I'm going against an Orochi. It's important to know your opponent's class, because it'll dictate what you have to do. Orochis are up there on the high echelons of characters that you kind of don't want in your face. The reason being is because they have their zone attack. Their zone attack is a very fast move. I believe it's 12 frames. So you don't want to get hit by it. It's really fast. So there are two ways that you can deal with that. You can be the one creating offensive pressure by threatening the shove, essentially. And what that does is, if they try to do their zone attack, they'll eat it. We'll eat the zone attack. They'll take the stamina damage for doing the attack, and then the shove will happen, and then they'll take more stamina damage. Threaten the shove and condition them to sidestep you. Another thing Orochis do, but not the best Orochis, they sidestep attack often. You could sneeze at them, and they'll sidestep attack. Be on the lookout for that. But to be honest, when you're playing at like higher levels, Orochi know that you're looking for a sidestep attack, so they're not gonna sidestep attack you too much. Use that to your advantage by pretty much forcing them to sidestep attack you, or at the very least sidestep, by attacking them from a range and then throwing out some shoves every now and then as well. I can't go over each class in depth, because that would make this way longer than it needs to be. So I will go over the most critical things about each character. So the Orochi, you want to keep a range because their zone attack is fast. If you want to deal with the Orochi, hold your block on that side and get them to do a left attack. Ignore the left attack or ignore the zone attack. It's up to you. I would probably say ignore the left attack, because you take more stamina. It costs more stamina to do an attack if it's blocked. So if I block his zone attack, it's going to cost him a lot more stamina, and then I can shove him as well. Do it again. And it's going to decimate his stamina. So eat those left attacks if you're in his face. Guard this side, and when he does that left attack, you can either react to the left attack or shove him, or just get away from him. You don't want to be in an Orochi's face. Okay. Against the Nobushi, she has superior range, but her stamina pool is not her best friend. If you can get an Nobushi at half stamina, and then you can shove her after that, you pretty much have controlled the tide of the fight, and she's not so tough at that point. So always sidestep attack to avoid her long pokes, but also sidestep attack with or sidestep shove as well. Against the Shigoki, good luck. It's a rough matchup, especially if the Shigoki is good. Because the Lawbringer's attacks are really slow, you're going to find yourself trading with the Shigoki a lot. So the best advice that I could give against that class is eat the damage while you're forcing your way in through shoves and guard breaks. Then at that point, you have to, it's player dependent. Are they throwing attacks? You have to parry those attacks. Are they letting you shove them to death? Then keep them drained out, and so on and so forth. Kinsei, they're Feint Masters, and they're mix-up kings until the Centurion comes out. But that's going to be another video. But They're gonna mix you up a lot. You don't want to deal with any of that shit. So when you're in their face, you want to hit them constantly. Let them, or not all the time because you'll be predictable, but you pretty much want to just keep hitting them because they want to feint you a lot and all that stuff. Look for that glorious sidestep attack and then parry the fuck out of them. But the great Kinsei, they're not gonna be sidestepping too much, so be on the lookout. It's a hard matchup because you can't parry them easily and they're feinting a lot, so their attacks aren't true, which means that you're never gonna know when their attacks are really theirs unless you've read your player. So keep that in mind as well. I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? Shigoki, Orochi, Nobushi, Kinsei. Nope, that's all of them. All right. For the Vikings, we've got the Raider, legendary, and the Raider is a tough matchup. Honestly, all matchups are tough, especially if your opponent's good. The Raider pretty much has one threat, and that is his side heavy into top poke. There's not much to say about that, but you're gonna have to make hard reads against the Raider. But you have the advantage in almost every other way, which means that you can get him from the long range attacks. Your attacks are the same speed as his, so if you do your attacks just like slightly sooner, you'll win those attacks. If he ever dares let the unblockable rip, you can parry those easily. But it all comes down to, in my opinion, the side heavy into a top light poke. There's no magic beam to consume to know when to let it rock with your side block or switch to your top block to defend against it. The only thing I can say is react better or just guess. Make hard guesses if you want to, or attack them. That works too. Anyways, Warlord. I hear a lot of bad things about the Warlord. I think he's balanced. I'll just say that right now. He's strong, but he's balanced now. Notable things about him: he can't do his headbutt off of a sidestep, only a forward dash. So react to headbutts by sidestep shoving when he dashes forward. If he starts reading you and just empty dashes, start attacking him as he dashes towards you. His zone attack is pretty good. It comes from the right side, so you want to keep a focus on that side. And his guard breaks are very threatening, so be on point with your guard breaks. But that's everybody pretty much. You should never get guard broken like more than 3 times in a match unless it was a 50-50 setup. So like the 50-50 that I showed you with the Lawbringer, or the 50-50 with the Warden's, shoulder charge. But you should never let someone just walk up to you and guard break you at all. Keep that to a minimum. But with the Warlord especially, Warlord and Raider especially, you don't want to get thrown off the map from 50 miles away. So keep that in mind as well. We got Valkyrie. All right, listen. I got a video on that specifically. I'll link that as well. But there's not much you can do against a Valkyrie that doesn't involve you willingly taking attacks from the Valkyrie. And if the Valkyrie is smart, which the ones that I've gone against are, they know that you want to eat the first attack, and that's all they'll do. They'll just bop you once and then let you oh, did I lose him again? They'll just hit you with the first light attack. So the way I deal with Valkyrie is I have to be overwhelmingly aggressive. I have to really push my stamina pool and really just push into them. So keep that in mind. Who else? Berserker. It's a sleeper matchup. It's a hard matchup when the Berserker's good. The best advice is the same for the Kinsei, except it's more potent against the Berserker, which is when they're in your face and they're doing the cha-cha in your face with their weapons and they're feinting and stuff. Just, keep them honest by attacking them with your fastest attack, which is your top light. And then if they're tired of that, then you've got them with the sidestep attack if they go for it, and then you can parry. Outside of that, you again want to keep your distance from the Berserker and hit him with those long range attacks. That's all of them. And then we have the Knights. The Warden. Very fun matchup. All I can say is everything is standard with the Lawbringer. The Warden has the 50-50. It's important to know that. Where he shoulder bashes you, attacks, and then from that attack he can do a shoulder charge, but he can also cancel the shoulder charge into a guard break. The strategy that I've been using is if your opponent, who's a Warden, hits you with the shoulder bash and then 1-2, react. As soon as you see orange as he's doing the unblockable, that looks like that. As soon as you see that, unlock and roll away. It's the best stamina you'll spend against a Warden. They typically don't chase you, because if they chase you, they can wind up eating like a free heavy. Be careful not to roll when you don't have enough stamina, because you'll avoid the attack, but then you'll end up gassed out, where then the shoulder vortex becomes very potent. So keep that in mind as well. Against other Lawbringers, very easy matchup if you're the better Lawbringer. It really just comes down to it. The better Lawbringer will always win. The reason why is because we both have the sidestep shove. So if I shove, you can sidestep, and then you can punish the shove with a sidestep of your own. So keep that in mind. Dodge the long arms when you see them, and try never to get hit with those. Try not to get shoved either, and don't throw too many attacks, because if they attack you, then you can shove them. But if you attack them, they'll shove you, and that shove will put you in that forced reactionary state. So keep that in mind as well. And then Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper is another one where I did a specific video on, so I won't like elongate this video with that information. I'll just link that video in the description as well. So those are just bullet points on each opponent, a little bonus. But the important thing to take out of that is know your opponent. You can't just go in and be a master at your character and then expect to win when knowing nothing about the other characters. Know who you're going against. Okay. Stable confirms. I pretty much went over those already, so I'll just brush them and then move past that. Stable confirms. We've got guard break into a side heavy into a shove. All free. They can't do anything about that. We got long arm into side heavy, and then side heavy shove if you delay it just a little bit. That's a confirm as well. We've got a shove into a light if your opponent does stay still. It was sort of a confirm. They can't block it. So that's what a confirm is, in my opinion. It's something that you can't block. So, but they can. So just put an asterisk next to that, and then be cool about it. Let's see. Okay, we've got this. If you land that top heavy and you do a light after that, so it's heavy, light, heavy, that fourth hit is a confirm as well. So those up, you know what? I'll go into these as well. Shout out to Landwalker. If you throw your opponent against the wall, it confirms it to a top heavy. So keep that in mind. Sidestep attack me. Blind Justice after a parry sidestep is a confirm, and then pretty much all of the other parry attacks are confirms. So there it is. Stable confirms, explain combos, and give a solid variant. Alright, I don't think this is an issue anymore, mainly because I don't see the people who have been following those guides do it anymore as a Lawbringer, but I'll touch on it one more time. There are people who say that certain things like this is a combo. Don't guard break me though.
Oh.
something
maybe a
like that.
mix-up combo, but
It's people, you know, at least in the early guides that I've seen from pretty much everybody, they were talking about like, oh man, look at all the combos that I can do. None of that was a combo. As Damas showcased when I attempted it the first time, that shit just stops immediately with a guard break. So it's important to know burst of combo sets that you should do. You should go for a guard break after a shove, just to test your opponent. So, but understand that they can guard break it as well. So, it's all burst. But just know that it's possible, but it's not worth it to do. The main things that you should be doing from a burst perspective is dash, guard break, or dash, shove, guard break, dash, shove, long arm, or dash, shove, attack. That's it from there. From there, you have to read what happens after your opponent. So you can shove, attack if you wanted to. To continue that line, you can shove, guard break, attack, shove, and then you pretty much can loop the situation there. And of course, you can long arm into a side heavy, into a shove, into attack, and stuff like that. Keep your burst short. Your goal isn't really to damage them. Your goal is to gas them out and then damage them. So it's easier to do damage that way. Note that you can end a match through your sidestep or your dash attacks. So always keep that in mind. So I went over that. That was essentially the do's and don'ts. From here, it's just small stuff. So I'll just say right now, like, if you made it this far and you wanted just the raw information on Lawbringer, it's been given to you. From this point, I'm gonna just go over some housekeeping stuff and go over personal things. So if you really want to know, keep watching. But you can use all the information that I've given so far and then go forth and play Lawbringer. You're good to go. But let's go over some extra stuff and see what we got here. So, my honor code. There's a lot of people out there who feel a certain kind of way when it comes to, you know, what you're allowed to do in duels and what you can or can't do. When it comes to For Honor, anything goes for me. So as a Lawbringer, if you're just picking up Lawbringer and you want to play Lawbringer and you have an honor code about yourself, I'm not gonna say don't play Lawbringer. I'm gonna say expect to play a weaker version of Lawbringer. Meet me down here. Let's see. Can I throw you into this? Find out. Okay, so the Lawbringer is in the category of displacers. If there are environmental threats, the Lawbringer was, you could argue that the Lawbringer was built to utilize them. We have all sorts of abilities that displace you into the environment. Oh, you're gonna die, aren't you? We have all sorts of abilities that can displace you. Back up a little bit. Ah, too far, shit. So, we pretty much have those abilities. When you play as the Lawbringer, you have to use your environment. You don't have to, but if you want to play at the best of your abilities, you have to. There's just no way about it. Attack. Oh shit! It didn't put me next to you. I'm gonna be back on the bottom.
All right.
Go ahead and tag me. All of these abilities are useful. So use your environment, not ring out your opponent if you have to, especially in Dominion. There shouldn't be a sense of honor in Dominion because people simply walking inside of your base ruins what your job is supposed to be, which is to win. And you can't win, at least efficiently, if you're not generating points. You're essentially wasting time when you are not by yourself as a rook here. So if we're in this situation and me and Dom are fighting, blah 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 blah, and then the fight takes it over here, and then I blah 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 and knock him down, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because now he's been dealt with. No one's contesting this area, and you're getting the point. Environmental kills are good, and I am siding with Ubisoft, or not Ubisoft. I'm siding with the developers of For Honor when it comes to the use of the environment. The people who, this is my personal opinion, the people who pretty much have issues with environmental kills are bad, in my opinion. Pure and simple. They're bad or they're weak. So there are a lot of skilled players who do not like that, or who are actively against it and think it's cheap. Those players are weak to me because clearly they don't want to utilize the skill that they have in order to not get guard broken. So if I'm walking up to you and you know and you're skilled and you have the environment, if I grab you, I'm glad I didn't do anything. But if I grab you and you guard break, well, you would have died either way, actually. No, you would have died either way. So if I grab you, and don't guard break because you're gonna die, and then I kill you through that grab, you're screwed. All right, and that's your fault because you allowed yourself to get guard broken. On the other hand, if you are a skilled player and you're against the ledge, guard break me now. Oh wait, that's right. That doesn't work that way. I'm stupid. I would have died if I initiated the guard break. I'm not gonna do that though. I would have died. So that's a good point though. That's the point I was trying to make anyways. If I'm on this side and I'm a skilled opponent, I do not want to guard break my opponent. Stand next to me. I'll do it. Fuck it.
I gotta freaking do it first. Go ahead.
Shoot.
Oh, okay. Gonna do that, huh? Gonna do that, huh?
I didn't mean to do that. But pretty much, like, if he guard broke me, guard broke counter me, I would have died. So it's on me to pretty much, if I consider myself a skilled player, it's not on me to pretty much dictate to others that you shouldn't do it, or if I were to lose that way, it's because my opponent's bad. No, if I die to an environmental kill, that doesn't make me bad, but I should accept that I made a fatal mistake, and I should know better than to do that. That's not enough for me, so I want to give solutions to this problem. Solution to this problem is pretty goddamn easy, to be honest. Don't be in this situation. Just don't. If you're in a 2v1 situation, well then you're already screwed because of the 2v1 situation, and you're not expected to win those unless you're just significantly better than both of them combined. So as a Lawbringer, we have tools to get away. We've got the shove. So the sidestep doesn't make us safe from guard breaks, but the sidestep shove does. So keep that in mind as well. Sidestep shove, get away, roll away if you have to, reset the fight here. If your opponent is where Damas is and he's one of those players who wants to get you out through a ring out and this is the minion, you've got two choices, but in my opinion, the choice is pretty obvious. You kill the mother. No, you don't. You sit here and you hope to God that your team has 2 points. So it's situational. So you have pretty much 2 points. If you have those 2 points and yours is the third point, you don't have to risk losing this point by taking the chance and fighting that guy. So stay here, party with him a little bit, and hope that another one of his teammates come by, because 2 people aren't going to sit here and wait for me to come to them. So one person's going to come at you, and then you fight them. The other option you have is you can, go back to that ledge real quick. You can just challenge them, be the better player, and then see what happens. Don't get too close to him so he can guard break you easily, but don't put yourself in a situation where you can't mess him up either. Play chicken and then deal with it that way. It's riskier, but you have options. Point is is if you're a good player and you're not a weak player, and you're not a weak player, you're not gonna have a problem with the obstacles that are in front of you. You're gonna be okay. So another thing about my honor code is revenge. I made a video about this, but this is gonna be like the extended version, and I'm gonna make this its own video too. So again, like you weren't watching, if you're looking for like Lawbringer info, still listen. But the guide is essentially done for the meat. But this is extra stuff that I'm keeping within the same video. So where are you, Domus? Let's see.
Back up top. Where
Come
we
to the
just were.
center of the map. All right. So another thing is revenge in duels. This isn't a gripe that I have, but it is it is a gripe that I have because it ruins the fun of beating you if I am fortunate enough or skilled enough to do so. So I'm just gonna attack you so that you can get revenge.
Oh, okay. Halfway there.
Shoving you probably do more.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Don't activate it. I should turn on gear stats too. Alright, so in a duel situation, I'll duel people who will, when they're in revenge, they'll just roll away from me and be like, "Oh God, I'm sorry, I had revenge. I'm not gonna hit you." I hate that. If you have revenge, use revenge, right? Don't not do it. Now there are people who are strategic about it, and they're just not gonna activate revenge whenever. They're gonna wait for me to like throw an attack or something and then activate it. But there are those who pretty much frown upon those who use revenge in duels. Fuck them. Alright? This is me being like aggressive with it. Screw them. Use revenge, man. If I gave you revenge, that means I did enough damage to you, or no, I just did enough damage to you, whether it be stamina damage, or health damage, or you've just been really offensive you've been really defensive, and you were able to trigger revenge. Revenge mode makes dueling cinematic. It makes it fun to watch. It makes it fun to play again. And in duels, there are no gear stats, so it's not like their revenge gain is better than yours because of gear. So revenge is fine. There's nothing wrong with revenge at all. If you have it, use it. I want more people to use it. I feel like the community really fucked everybody when it came to doing certain shit. They have this honor code. I have a sense of honor, but my sense of honor doesn't prevent me from doing everything that I can to win the fight, because that's what I think the most high honor I could give somebody is essentially giving them a lot of respect of doing everything that I can to win, rather than holding back because of some community that doesn't like it because they don't know how to handle that situation. So that's it for there. Ring out your opponents in duels. Throw them out. If they expose themselves and you caught them exposing themselves, punish them for doing so. If you're a Lawbringer, you're the ultimate displacer. You can dictate where the fight goes, push them, and then once you've gotten them to the ring and they want to start sidestepping you, guard break them and then throw them out, or guard break them and attack them if they've pretty much sidestepped away from the ledge. Point is, unless you are hacking, unless you're cheating, unless you're doing some like lag switching stuff, it's all within the rule set. So utilize all the tools in your tool belt to win the fight. So that's about it. It's been it's been a long one, but no longer than the first one. I have covered all my bases here, and I'm sure I've missed some things with Lawbringer. If I personally figure out things that I haven't said, I will put them in the description. And to those who watch and want to add something to it, listen to the comments below. And if I agree, with those comments, if I think that yeah, that's really important to do as the Lawbringer, uh, I'll favorite it or I'll pin them to the top, however that works, and then they will be showcased. So look in the comments for additional information. I hope this Lawbringer guide will allow you to pick up and play the Lawbringer. If you have any questions as well, send me a message or leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to answer the question. Damas, did I miss anything?
Think you got just about everything.
All right, this is a long one, guys. Thanks for making it this far, and thank you, Damas, for being a part of this.
No
Um,
problem.
that is it. I'm out. Peace. Actually, nope, that's it. Shit. All right. Okay. Thanks, man. Whew, got it done. This is officially. Oh nope. Are we still live? Holy shit.
Are we?
Okay. Good. Yes. Yes. Um, I wanted to say one more thing. Um, as a Lawbringer, God, now this is sloppy. As a Lawbringer, as a
Surprise! It's
Lawbringer,
not done.
style's important. One of the things that I do like about the community is be respectful towards your fellow Lawbringer. Assuming that Brendan is, Damas is a Lawbringer, if he's dancing and stuff, don't interrupt his flow for the first second, right? Like, salute and stuff. But that was a small thing. Dueling ethics is that I do is I go to entertain and then I bow. This character doesn't have the bow thing, but I bow before duels. I don't say good fight after each round. I see a lot of people do that. I like to focus, so I don't do that shit. I save it for when the game is done, whether I win or lose. I give a good fight times 2, GG. And then if I win, I be respectful and I take a bow. So those are my the small dueling ethics. All right, but now I have covered everything that I think I wanted to cover. So this is HDeezus, the bringer of leaves, is with me as well, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.